Welcome back. As you know, I am Eli, the computer guy, here for your daily dose of the roars as we scream about the very stupid stuff going on in the world of technology so I can fund a Silicon Dojo, free to user hands-on technology education in Durham, North Carolina. If you're interested, take a look at our classes at silicondojo.com. If you want to help support our free to user classes, there is a donor box link down below. And I gotta say, look at this picture. Look at this picture. That's real right there. That's the kind of fuck you look you can get in the technology world that AI just cannot simply replicate. Look at them. Look at them being like, ha 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 ha. We're gonna fuck Jensen Huang. We're gonna fuck Jensen Huang so hard out behind that 7-Eleven. So anyways, I think this is an interesting story just with the whole AI idiocy that is currently going on and the whole question of where will the AI race be in 5 or 10 years. One of the big things that I try to tell the young people is there is this idea that the winners, the people that are winning today, the companies that are winning today are going to win forever. Obviously, Eli, they're the best, so they will continue to be the best. And I try to explain to people, Yahoo and Research in Motion and Xerox and all of these other companies, Gateway, all these companies that have died, they were the best of their time, and then they went splat. And honestly, a lot of times it doesn't really make sense why they went splat, or frankly, why they went splat so hard. And so what's interesting right now with NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA, the most valuable company in the world, $5 trillion company, right? There's this concept that they can do no wrong. They are going to be successful forever because AI is the future. And one of the things I try to warn people is, remember, we don't know what architecture AI is going to solidify on. And the reality is NVIDIA might have the first mover advantage into this world, but then as other people figure out how to actually do artificial intelligence better, they may start losing their market share at a surprisingly large clip. Again, one of the big things that I heard from Jensen Huang recently is for Google's TPUs, right? So TPUs are these tensor processing units. They're basically what's called ASICs chips. So ASICs chips are chips that are designed to do one specific task. And one of the things that Jensen Huang said is like, well, ASICs chips are nice, but NVIDIA GPUs can run any model on the most diverse hardware. Right? And the curious thing is his argument is both correct, 100% correct, but also 100% questionable at the exact same time, right? When I'm building my infrastructure, I'm building it to be relatively task specific. This server is going to be a file server. This server is going to be an email server. This server is going to be a VoIP server. This server is going to be a surveillance server. The whole 9 yards, right? And so the reality is if you can sell me a product for half the price, for about the exact same performance to do a very specific task, why do I want a GPU that can do everything when all I need is a chip that can do one thing in a cost-effective fashion? So I think that's going to be interesting right now, right? With NVIDIA has huge market share right now. One, because they don't have a lot of competition, but then two, because so many companies are trying to figure out how to use artificial intelligence. What will their AI workflows look like in 5 years? So they're doing a lot of experiments. If you don't know what you want to solidify on, you will experiment doing a lot of different things. And so, right, having these flexible GPUs makes a lot of sense. One day we're going to use it for this kind of training. One day we're going to use it for inference. One day we're going to put it into a cluster. Let's see what works. But here's the thing. Give it a year or two or 5, maybe 5, probably not 5, but maybe 5. At some point, people are going to figure out how they want to do AI. They're just going to create the systems. They're going to create the systems. They're going to create the workflows. They're going to create the documentations. They're going to create the requirements charts and all the rest of that. And then that's what they're going to start deploying. And at that point, they're not going to need flexibility. I'm not going to need something that does everything. I need something that does exactly what I need it to do. And so I think that's kind of interesting right now with what's going on with Google's TPUs, these tensor processing units. They've actually been around for about 10 years. I remember when they came out with their TPUs. I think they put a TPU into one of their Pixel phones. I don't know if it's called Pixel at the time. But anyways, there's this real big push for TPUs from Google about 10 years ago. Like I was at CES and they were showing us these phones that had some kind of like AI computer vision built in because apparently they had TPUs. I remember that. And then TPUs kind of disappeared. They just stopped talking about TPUs for whatever reason. But now TPUs are back. They are back and they are sexy because apparently Google's Gemini Pro model that they just released, apparently that was 100% trained on TPUs. So that's one of the things with these ASICs chips. The idea is like, well, ASICs is good for inference, but it's not good for training. And then Google used it for training. And then you're like, right? So anyways, this is kind of interesting here with Meta. So Meta and Google could be about to sign a mega AI chip deal, and it could change everything in the tech space, right? So I do believe I think Anthropic just signed like a $30 billion deal for using TPUs from Google. So that's Anthropic doing it. And now if you have Meta go and do it, it could become very interesting. One of the interesting things with Meta too, is they produce so many things. They produce so many open source projects for tech professionals. Now understand, Mark Zuckerberg is a complete piece of crap as far as consumers are concerned, right? Mark Zuckerberg does not give a fuck if your daughter hangs herself because of whatever the hell she sees on Instagram. Right there, he's an evil piece of crap. But for tech professionals, he's actually pretty good, right? The React framework, that's from Facebook. The Llama AI models, that's from Facebook. There's a lot of these different products out there, open source products that Facebook or Meta has basically created and released to the tech world. Why that becomes interesting then is like with a lot of these products, right? It's not about like the TPU. It's not about the TPU. It's not about the GPU or whatever else. It's about, do you have a product that I can use? Right? I don't really care about the TPU. I don't really care about the GPU. I care about, do I have an interface that allows me to use that thing? Like I use Ollama. So when we do Silicon Dojo classes, we use Ollama. So Ollama is an AI LLM, a model framework. You can install it onto your computer. It gives you an interface, so you can use Python code to run these LLM models. And so that's the thing I need. I need something that allows me to be able to have my Python code accessed in LLM and get a response back. So it becomes interesting here. If Meta gets on board with Google's TPUs, how many open source projects will they push to the developer community to make it oh so much easier to start deploying on Google's TPUs versus NVIDIA's GPUs? I think, and that's the kind of interesting thing that happens in the tech world, and it's where there can be massive paradigm shifts with things that you're just not even considering. You're just like, oh, I didn't think it could spin that way. So Meta is reported to be in advanced discussions to secure large quantities of Google's custom AI hardware for future development work. The negotiations revolve around renting Google Cloud Tensor Processing Units during 2026 and transitioning to direct purchases in 2027. So that's the other interesting thing here, right? So one of the ideas with these TPUs in Google is that Google produces these tensor processing units to use them in-house, right? So when you use Google's cloud services, they have TPUs on the back end. But the concept here is you can't really buy TPUs on your own. But one of the things I tell you in business, right? You don't necessarily sell something until somebody comes with a big wad of cash and says, "Will you sell me it now?" Like, hey, Google, would you sell TPUs? No, we never are going to sell our TPUs. We have no roadmap to selling this actual hardware. We're only going to be using it as part of our subscription services. Oh, okay. Mark Zuckerberg comes in with $500 million. Yeah, would you sell TPUs now? Like, oh, well, I didn't want to sell TPUs, but I do want that wad of money. So maybe we can sell you TPUs, right? And that's the kind of curious thing that occurs. This is a shift for both companies, as Google has historically limited its TPUs to internal workloads, while Meta has relied on a wide mix of CPUs and GPUs sourced from multiple vendors. Meta is also exploring broader hardware options, including interest in RISC-V based processors from Rivos, suggesting a wider move to diversify its compute base. The possibility of a multi-billion-dollar agreement caused immediate market changes, with Alphabet's valuation climbing sharply, putting it close to the $4 trillion mark, while Meta also saw stock rise following the reports. NVIDIA's stock declined by several percentage points as investors speculated about the long-term effect of major cloud providers shifting their spending to alternative architectures. And that's one of the big things to be thinking about too with NVIDIA. NVIDIA's value has shot up really quickly in about 6 years. So think about it. Like 5 or 6 years from now is only 2030. Could Alphabet or these other companies basically be competitive in that amount of time? Estimates from Google's cloud executives suggest a successful deal could allow Google to capture a meaningful share of NVIDIA's data center revenue, which exceeds $50 billion in a single quarter this year. Right? So if NVIDIA is making $200 billion a year on data center services, that's a big target for competitors to go after. So it makes sense that Google will try to go after that, especially because, they're still kind of stuck on search. Search is still where they make most of their money. So maybe AI will be the gift horse that will allow them to break the stranglehold that search has over their entire business model. So anyways, this could be very interesting. Again, that's the other thing to be thinking about with people like Mark Zuckerberg. Again, screw him, fuck Mark Zuckerberg. Just fuck him so hard. But one of the things you do have to think about is that they put out a tremendous number of products and things for the developer community to use. So if they go hardcore into Google's TPUs, that may actually be one of the tipping points to actually break NVIDIA's monopoly as it becomes easier for people to deploy basically on other hardware. I think that'll be one of the interesting things to take a look at this. So what do you think about this? What do you think about Meta and Google getting together to share TPUs? What do you think about Google being all like, no, we don't sell our TPUs. You can only rent them for us, until Mark Zuckerberg comes in with an absolute bag o' cash. Would that change your mind? What do you think about this with NVIDIA? Are you starting to be like, not feeling so good about NVIDIA anymore? I don't know. Put your thoughts down below. If you like these videos, give us a thumbs up. If you hate these videos, give us a thumbs down. Call me amazing. Call me a dumbass. Just be a real Lutnick and put that strong American comment down there in the comment section. Do you remember I do these videos in order to support Silicon Dojo, authoritative, gatekeeperless, free to use your hands-on technology education that empowers you to do whatever the hell it is you want to do in Durham, North Carolina. We have a class coming up tomorrow on extending AI capabilities with REST APIs. We have another class coming up on December 17th on AI computer vision with something called Moondream. We're going to have more and more classes coming up. If you're interested, take a look at our schedule at silicondojo.com. Do remember, free to the end user is not actually free. There's a donor box link down below if you'd like to support the project. With that, see y'all later.